Call of Duty is one of the only games that actually creates a new iteration of its own product every single year. And because of that, chances are you're going to get a couple of bad games here and there. But definitively, the worst Call of Duty in every single series is always the one that comes out from Infinity Ward. Take a look at this. First up, we have Call of Duty Ghosts. Now, Call of Duty Ghosts' only fault is that it came out after probably the best Call of Duty that's ever been made, that being Black Ops 2. It still suffered from the fact that it had just a shitty release. The game wasn't good. When the game first came out, people hated that game. In retrospect, if you go back and you play Call of Duty Ghosts today, it's fine. It plays like an arcade shooter. It plays like how any other Call of Duty game you would expect to play plays. I mean, look at some of this gunplay. We're watching some pro players play the game, and it looks like your average Call of Duty game where you're moving around and you're shooting your gun. You don't see kids sliding all over the fucking place. But when the game first came out, it played nothing like Black Ops 2. The extra mode was called Extinction. Nobody played that shit to my knowledge. It was nothing like Call of Duty Zombies. It was fucking garbage. The game came out. You had maps like fucking Stonehaven that I don't think anybody even remembers that map, but it was so dog shit and garbage. And that's one thing I'll say about Infinity Ward games is that the maps, the movement, I don't know what they try to do, whether they try to make the games too realistic or what have you. But when this game first came out, it was so boring that I could not play it for more than a week before I was back on Black Ops 2. And if you actually think back, Black Ops 2 was the last game, published by Treyarch, mind you, the last game where we were actually able to see the live player count. They didn't have that after this because when Call of Duty Ghosts came out, people hated this fucking game so much that they all went back to play Black Ops 2. And Black Ops 2's numbers were back in the 100,000s right after this game's release because it was so dog shit that nobody wanted to actually play it. And this is the first hallmark of Infinity Ward games where people just did not like the game. With that being said, the next game that Infinity Ward decided to create was Infinite Warfare. And if you remember when this game came out, the dislike ratio on the trailer, which you can actually see in the background right now, was so ridiculously high that they had to put out a remaster to a game that they made probably 10 years prior just to make up for the fact that this game was not going to sell well. People hated this game. There was so many people that went back to play Modern Warfare Remastered. And this is to me where Call of Duty officially died as like the official AAA FPS game. Like you had already seen other FPS games come into the fold like Battlefield and like Titanfall had been released, but nobody took those games seriously. Once Infinite Warfare came out, people no longer gave a shit about Call of Duty and they started venturing off to play other games. I think this game came out in what, 2017? Is when you really started to see people take a liking to other games and left Call of Duty alone. Call of Duty has not been taken seriously. Zombies in Spaceland or whatever the fuck it's called, where you went into outer space, Back to the Future, whatever the 80s theme was with that shit, I'll never understand. This is probably the first Call of Duty where I think they had game battles integration. If you don't know what game battles is, that's basically like this competitive online ladder where people would go and like play tournaments and play against each other and whatnot. And they actually had game battles integration. And if you played any of that, you know that the skinny bot. Do y'all remember the skinny bot, bro? The skinny bot, the robot character that you could play as, one of the operators that you could play as that literally had a smaller hitbox where if you ran skinny bot, people could not shoot you because your hitbox was literally smaller. That is a fucking problem with the game. That is not something that any player can fix. That's not a skill issue. People that were running Skinny Bot were literally not getting hit. Do you understand how bad your game has to be that something like that doesn't make it through testing? The whole wall running shtick that people want, and the fact that they want to go back to wall running, right? I think Infinite Warfare, or I think Infinity Ward is the next publisher for Call of Duty since they insist on keeping this yearly cycle. They want to go back to wall running as an iteration on Omni Movement. What the fuck are we doing, bro? People don't want to play this shit. If you have to go to every couple years you put out a Call of Duty game and you just support the game like a Halo would or a Fortnite and get rid of this yearly cycle bullshit in order to make a good game, then do that. Ladies and gentlemen, next up we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, which is probably the worst Call of Duty game that's ever been made. This was one of those games where if you played competitive, you know they went to 5v5 in Black Ops 4. You had 5v5 on maps that were literally designed I don't even know what the philosophy was behind the map design, but all of these maps literally sucked. I don't know why they had to do away with the 3 lanes. You had maps like Piccadilly making it into the map pool, which is literally just a fucking roundabout in the middle of a big ass city. What were we doing with this game? We focused way too much on hyper realistic art design rather than trying to make a fun arcade shooter, which is like, if you played this game over a game like Fortnite or maybe Apex, you were literally just wasting your time. This game was so garbage. The time to kill was so ridiculously fast, which you can argue is a skill issue. But why the fuck were there so many doors in this game? You couldn't move around. There was no dead silence. They wanted to drop this game without a mini map. Do you know how insane that actually is from the standpoint of someone who has played FPS games since Halo 1, the first Halo that ever came out? Every game, every FPS game has a map, bro. Like, what game do you know, FPS game, competitive FPS game, doesn't have a mini map, or at least a map for you to look at that tells you where people are coming, where your teammates are at? What was the philosophy behind this game? Trying to put you into battle? I'm not in the fucking army. I'm not in the military. I'm not actually in the Marines. I'm respawning. It is a video game. Why were we so focused on realism? If you look at this gameplay in the background, you see the gun just bobbing up and down and moving. Like, it's not a real gun, Infinity Ward. It's fake. It's a video game. Get back to the arcade shooter style that people have always played and that they want to see. Why is there so many doors in this game? Why? And the fact that we're 4 years, 5 years removed from this game's release and we still have doors. I don't understand it. You know, this game's dead silence was like a perk. Like, it was like something you had to pop that had a time limit. And then once the time limit ran out, you couldn't fucking run anymore. Like, you would pop dead silence, right? You'd run for like 20 seconds. And then your dead silence would just go away and your footsteps would be loud as shit. I'm running down the cave on whatever map this is called, Azir Cave or whatever the fuck. And 10 seconds later, my dead silence run out and you can literally hear my boots on the ground. I'm loud as shit. You can hear all my keys rustling and all type of shit. Like, why? Like, why did you punish people that actually enjoyed playing the game? I never played a game that was more fucking campy in my life. The amount of people when this game came out that were just camping. The time to kill is so ridiculously fast. And this game came out after Black Ops 4, which, whether you like that game or not, you have to admit that Black Ops 4's movement, the speed, the tempo, the arcade feel to that game, like, there was actually a skill gap in Black Ops 4. In Black Ops 4, you had to actually kill people. The time to kill was so long that if you couldn't shoot straight, you were going to get shit on. It doesn't matter how good your movement was, how good you were at camping, you were going to get cameraed in that game. Which, to a fault, Black Ops 4 introduced all this fucking slide bullshit that, look, you see on the screen right now, this motherfucker sliding all over the place. If it weren't for sliding, doors, hyper realism, the fast ass time to kill, and the fact that the game just fucking didn't work, this game might have actually been good, but it wasn't. It was dog shit. Alright, and last up in this video that I really wanted to make a point on was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, right? Not the original one, which was actually a good fucking game. I'm talking about the new one that released just a couple of years ago, Modern Warfare 2. Wow. Infinity Ward, can y'all just name your games? Can you stop being so fucking lazy and just give your games a new name? Why is all of your new games titled Modern Warfare? Like, you didn't already make a Modern Warfare 10 fucking years ago. But anyways, this game, the gameplay wasn't even that bad. This game didn't have as many problems as many of the other Infinity Ward titles did. The problem with this game, which was exclusive to this title, I had never seen anything like this before. Multiple maps were taken out of this game because Infinity Ward didn't have the license to use the places that they were based on. Like, there was a map called it was a hotel map. I forget the name of it. There was a map in this game that was literally taken out because it was a real place and the hotel said, "We don't want our hotel in your game," because they didn't have permission to create that map in the game. Which, first of all, shows that they weren't creating original maps, which is beyond me, to be honest. Like, you can base your maps on a real place, but the fact that you're literally creating legit places without permission, mind you,
and just putting them in the game is so ridiculously lazy. Like, there was a map in this game. It was like a raceway or something like that. I'm telling you, there was multiple maps. It was like 3 or 4 maps that literally got taken out of the game. You couldn't play them because they didn't have permission until later, and then some updates came, and then they were able to put a couple maps back in. But they literally removed maps because they didn't have permission to use them. There was a map called Raceway or something like that, which was based on like this F1, like a legit racetrack, like that they just stole and threw into the game. And you weren't allowed to play it because it was literally a real place that they didn't have permission to use. Like, like, what the fuck? This is a AAA game that brings in millions in dollars of revenue, like monthly. I'm not even talking about like overall. Like, this is $1 billion company, bro. Like, they make so much money. You can't make original maps. Are you serious? And plus, I don't even know what the premise of this game was. Like it was just a Modern Warfare clone. Like, it was just part 2 to a game that they had already made. Like, I don't really see Infinity Ward as like the innovators of Call of Duty. When I think innovators in the Call of Duty franchise, I'm thinking like Treyarch. I'm thinking more so Sledgehammer than I am Infinity Ward. Infinity Ward just makes the same shit over and over again. I didn't even talk about the original Modern Warfare 2, the original Modern Warfare 3, where the original Modern Warfare 3 was just Modern Warfare 2, if you really think about it. The fact that they keep reusing maps year after year, and Treyarch is not immune to this critique either. Treyarch puts in Standoff and Raid and Nuketown every single fucking year with immunity. But Infinity Ward literally can't make an original map to save their life. Every time they try to make an original map, it is dog shit. The only maps that Infinity Ward has made that people actually give a fuck to play is like Terminal or some shit, or like Dome from Modern Warfare 3. They can't make a good map to save their life, and the fact that they literally like they're in charge of the franchise. Like, every game that they make is like the best selling, and like people actually enjoy playing this shit. Like, you died so fast in this game. Like, how is that enjoyable? They serve their games to campers, to people that don't know how to play the game, that people that are scared to leave the fucking spawn, and expect the game to be fun, and expect people to actually enjoy the title. What Call of Duty does, and what I want y'all to take away from this video, is that they get y'all with this yearly release cycle where they put out a Call of Duty game that they want y'all to play for a month, and then put out seasonal updates to bring you back after you've left throughout the year. They don't care if you play the game every single day for 365 days until the next COD releases. They just want you to play for 2-3 days after the first updates come out. Maybe you grind the game for a week, and then you stop. And then you stop. And then you come back when the next update comes out, and you try out the guns, and you buy the new skins and whatever the fuck. And then you quit again. And they keep you stringing along throughout this yearly cycle where they don't fix the game until the end of the fucking year when it no longer matters. And then they put out a new Call of Duty with a new trailer to hype you up more so that you spend another $60, $70 on the next Call of Duty game and repeat the fucking cycle over again. I'm telling y'all, if you actually like stop playing this game, they have to make the game better or they're going to go out of business. So my best advice to y'all is to just stop playing the fucking game. The amount of bullshit that they're getting away with in the new one, the fact that everything is AI generated, and we still play this game with passion and love is beyond ridiculous to me. But that's going to wrap it up for this rant, y'all. If y'all did enjoy that video, please leave a like, comment, and share the video. Subscribe if you are new, man. I'm going to get up out of here. I'm going to go take a breather, drink some water, right? Because my blood pressure is getting a little too high with this fucking video. And I hope I can catch y'all in the next one. Till next time, y'all. Love y'all so much. Peace out.